Hi, welcome to Financially Intact. Making money is easy, keeping it is the hard part. The channel dedicated to helping you keep your money in your pockets. If you like what we say and do here, please hit the subscribe and like buttons. Pay card or save? As in, if we have some extra money, whether that be on a monthly basis or somewhat of a windfall, do we take that money and do we pay more or pay off the credit card? Or should we be putting money into a savings account so that we have an emergency fund for later on? That is the question we're going to answer for you today. It's been asked of many financial advisors and educators over the years, and we are going to answer that for you. Now, I realize that I could just give you the answer right here and now in about 10 seconds, but that would seem more like it's an opinion. I would much rather prove it to you with actual numbers. So if you'll bear with me here for a second, we are going to do just that. So the first set of numbers that I'm going to show you here is we're assuming that there's a credit card out there with $1,000 balance on it, and that you could say you could pay $100 a month, and you're trying to decide, should I put the whole $100 a month towards the credit card, or maybe should I put like $50 towards the credit card and put $50 away in savings? We'll talk about why people would do that here in just a little bit, but let me show you the numbers first. So what we assumed here, like I said, is that we have $1,000 balance on the credit card, and then the interest rate we're assuming here is 18% interest rate, which is pretty normal. There's a lot of them that are higher than that now, up in the 20s, but 18% interest rate, that would be $15 of interest in 1 month on $1,000. And so we add those two together, then we subtract the $100 payment, and we have an ending balance, which becomes the beginning balance. So after you go through all that, and you see after 11 months, you've actually paid off your $1,000. So after a full year, and I did this for a real specific reason, you'll see in just a minute, but after a full year, you actually have $108 now in your savings account. So you've paid out $91 in interest, and you have $108 in your savings account, and your charge card is paid off and gone. So the other way I want to show you, like I said, and this gets a little bit harder. Let's see if we could zoom in here for you. Okay, so here what we did this time is we did the same interest rate, so that stays the same, but we're only paying $50 a month instead. And the other $50 we're putting into a savings account. So what I figured out on the savings account right now, if you do like Capital One, I picked them on purpose because I know their interest rate, my interest rate on that card, if I ever paid interest, is right at 18%. So I looked up what their savings rates are, because you can also put money with them for savings if you want, and it's a whole 0.5% per year. So of course you got to divide that down by 12, and that's what I did. So you're going to earn a whole 2 cents, basically per $50 per month is what you're going to earn over here. So what I did is I paid off for the whole 12 months, and this time we've paid $143 of interest instead of only 90-some dollars of interest, and we still have a balance of $541. Over on the savings account, we've accumulated our $50 a month. We've made a whole $1.39 worth of interest over the course of the year. Now, to bring apples to apples, we have to compare what do we have in our pocket at the end of the year this way versus the other way of just paying the $100. So if we take our savings account of $601, subtract our balance so that we're back to even again, subtract our balance there, we have $57 left in our account. So as you can see, paying the $100 a month and then just saving that last $100, that way we ended up with $108 at the end of the year, whereas this way we only end up with $57.83 at the end of the year. So the obvious answer is take the money, pay off the credit card first, and then start putting money away in savings. Now I know some people are going to tell me, oh, but if I had the $600 in savings, then I wouldn't have to use the credit card anymore, and so I'm going to come out ahead that way. My argument to that is no, you won't, because now Yeah, you have your $600 in savings, but now you've guaranteed you're going to pay interest on that other $543 if you were to, whether or not you actually need it. So your emergency over here, if you really had the emergency and this was paid off, of course, you could always go back and borrow off of the credit card again. And so you still have the money available to you. That is the only time I would not suggest doing it exactly this way, and that's if they have put a stop on your credit card and you won't be able to borrow the money back. Then yeah, you have to start putting some money away in savings to a certain extent. And I'm going to show you here in just a minute a way that you could consider doing that. But other than that, like I said, this way you're guaranteeing you're going to pay interest on that other $500, whereas the other way, that's all paid off, and then you start putting money in the bank. And if you didn't need it for an emergency, you just saved yourself at least $50 of interest, plus all the interest that would have been accrued on that $543 until you finally paid that off at $50 a month. So there you have it. Let's talk a little bit about a couple other related items. So now I know some people would like to have the best of both worlds, and I will be one of the very first people to admit that getting into the habit of saving money is one of the best lessons any of us could ever learn in our lifetimes, and what we could teach to our children and grandchildren. So I have a solution here that will help satisfy those who want to do both pay off the charge cards and start putting money away into a savings account. If you watched one of my other videos, the one about the history of the pennies, we talked about a thing called the penny challenge. And the penny challenge is pretty neat in that you start with the low piggy bank, you put 1 penny in the first day, then 2 pennies the next day, 3 pennies the next day, and you do this for a whole year. So on day 365, of course, you put in $3.65. Well, I wouldn't want people doing that while they're trying to pay off charge cards, because $3 and some cents a day adds up to over $100 a month, and that's money that should be going to pay off those charge cards. But we can hit a happy medium here, I think. If we did hit the penny challenge, but only took it up to $1, never put in more than $1 in one day. Now, I think most of us could do that. We could put in a few cents a day and just put it into a savings account. If we were to do that, penny the first day, 2 pennies the next day, go all the way up to day 100, and day 100 you put in $1, day 101 you start with a penny again. So you do 1 penny, 2 penny, and do it all over again. So after the course of a year, you'll have done this 3 full cycles plus 65 days. When you add all of that up, it comes out to $172.95. So I know that's not a lot of money, but at least it has started the habit of saving money, even a few cents at a time, and it actually adds up to a reasonable dollar amount. You can actually go buy something more than penny candy with $172. And that's not going to hurt you on paying off your credit card at the same time. So I think that would be a good happy medium. Now, why should people be doing this and be paying attention to all of this? Even those of you who don't carry any credit card balances. We still need to teach this to our children and our grandchildren. So have them watch this video and have them get the concept that paying out all that interest is not good. All the money that gets paid out in interest could be money that they get to spend on something that they truly want or need. So one of the top 2 reasons that couples fight inside their marriages, couples in general, one of those top 2 reasons is money. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never known anybody people who have money don't normally argue about money. It's people who are trying to make ends meet and deciding what they can and cannot buy or when to buy it and all of that. That's where the arguments with money come in. One person's trying to save, the other person's trying to buy something, and that's where the money arguments come in. Well, if you pay out a lot less money in interest, that puts a lot more money back into your pocket. That probably is going to get rid of a whole lot of arguments. So now I know, like I said, with that little method that I just told you about, you're only going to end up with $172.95 at the end of the year. And you're thinking, well, what do we do with that, or how can we invest that to actually make money with it? And I'm glad you asked that question, because that's going to be coming up on one of the next videos here in the very, very near future. So stay tuned. I hope you have already subscribed. If you haven't, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little notification bell, so that when we do put out new videos, you'll be notified that it's out and you can come and watch some of the other videos. My job has always been to help people keep their money in their own pocket. Next time you go out and buy something and you're thinking of putting it on a charge card and you know you can't pay off that charge card at the end of the month, automatically look at that price tag and add on 25%, and then decide if that purchase is worth that price. We'll be talking to you again real soon. This is Ron with Financially Intact.